Tabletop flashbacks are a curious storytelling device. How do you balance the right to explore while keeping their narrative purpose intact? In this edition of the GM Edit, I'm going to give you my solution. I see two schools of thought on how to approach the tabletop flashback. In one, the GM explains to the player what they remember. This is kind of treated like a narrative aside. It's almost like something that the characters see. On the other, the GM creates a small islanded arc within an arc and places the character within it, telling them to explore the memory as they see fit. I see problems with both approaches. The first violates the player craving. It doesn't give the character any sense of choice. And because of that, the player is probably not going to remember the information that you gave them when you want them to remember it. The second gives the player the opportunity to completely derail the memory and change what it means for him as a player. And you have to ask yourself, what's the point in including a narrative device like a flashback if not to provide context on the story that's present? So here's my solution. I reason that memory is something like a web. There's what happened, which is the central memory. And then there's all the supporting information, the NPC's relationship to the character, the location and its history, what led to the moment happening, how the character itself feels. These are things which round out the context of the memory itself. I wrote the whole flashback as a short story, roughly 2 pages long. I focused on what had happened instead of including anything like lore or lengthy explanations. And then after every paragraph of the story, I encouraged the players to ask me questions about what I had just read. Giving the player the opportunity to ask these questions keeps them more engaged with the narrative. First, they have to pay attention to what I'm saying to know what questions to ask. Then, the questions help them form their own exploration of the story as it's unfolding. My players aren't going to forget that information in the next session because I allowed them to decide how to take the information in. But at the same time, I didn't allow them to run roughshod over the story and destroy the purpose of the flashback to begin with. But I'm sure there's other ways to do flashbacks that are just as good, so please, leave your stories in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you.